Men are often seen as emotionally distant, guarded, and hard to read. But the truth is, even the most composed man craves a deep emotional connection, one that goes beyond looks, beyond words, and touches his very soul. If you truly want a man to fall deeply in love with you, there are certain things you can do, not manipulations, not games, but subtle shifts in how you connect with him on a psychological and emotional level. When you understand these, you don't chase love, it naturally gravitates toward you. One of the deepest desires of any man, though most will never admit it, is to feel emotionally safe with a woman he loves. It's not about being perfect, and it's not about agreeing with everything he says. It's about creating a space where he feels he can show you the parts of himself he doesn't show to anyone else. Most men are raised to hide their emotions, to stay strong, to never appear weak. Society teaches them that vulnerability is a sign of failure. And because of that, very few men truly allow themselves to open up. But when a man meets a woman who makes him feel seen, heard, and accepted without judgment, that's when something shifts inside him. That's when he starts falling in love in a way he can't explain, because he feels safe in a way he rarely ever has. When you listen to him, really listen, without trying to fix him, without interrupting, without making it about you, you give him something most people in his life never do. You give him understanding. And understanding creates connection. It tells him, you don't have to perform here. You don't have to be perfect here. You can just be. That's powerful, because when a man feels he can take off the armor he wears for the world and still be accepted, he bonds with you on a level far deeper than physical attraction. You stop being just another person in his life and become his emotional home. But let me make this clear. Emotional safety doesn't come from constantly reassuring him or babying him. It comes from being present, from having empathy, from allowing him to express himself without fear of being criticized or belittled. Sometimes it's as simple as sitting with him in silence when he's going through something difficult, showing him through your energy that you're not going anywhere, that you can handle his darkness as well as his light. That kind of emotional strength is magnetic to a man, because it tells him you're someone he can trust with his heart. And here's the thing most people don't realize: men fall for the woman who makes them feel like they can be fully themselves. It is not about looks. It's not about playing games. And it's definitely not about trying to control him. It's about allowing him the freedom to show you his soul without fear. That's rare. That's precious. And when you give that to a man, he knows he can't easily replace you. He will see you differently, value you differently, and love you differently. Men may not always say it, but more than love, they crave respect. It's something deeply rooted in their psychology, something that defines how they see themselves and the relationships they choose to invest in. When a man feels respected by a woman, it touches a part of him that words can't quite reach. It validates his sense of worth, his identity, and his role in your life. Respect doesn't mean agreeing with everything he says or blindly following his lead. It's about acknowledging his efforts, appreciating his strengths, and making him feel capable and valued for who he is. A lot of women focus on showing love, and yes, love is important. But for many men, respect is how they interpret love. It's when you notice the things he does, the long hours he works, the quiet sacrifices he makes, the way he tries to protect and provide even in small, unnoticed ways, and you let him know that you see it. That simple act of recognition builds a bond stronger than you realize. Men fall for women who make them feel like their existence matters, like what they bring to the table is valuable and meaningful. And here's where a lot of relationships struggle. When respect is missing, even love starts to feel hollow. If a man constantly feels criticized, belittled, or made to feel not enough, he shuts down emotionally. He stops trying to pull. But when he's around someone who makes him feel like he's appreciated, not just for what he does, for who he is, that's when his walls start to come down. That's when his loyalty deepens and his love grows naturally, without force. Sometimes showing respect is as simple as letting him take the lead in certain situations and trusting his judgment. It's giving him space to solve problems in his own way instead of always stepping in to correct him. It's expressing gratitude for the little things he does, even when they seem small. It's allowing him to feel competent, capable, and needed without making him feel controlled or diminished. This doesn't make you weaker. It makes the connection stronger, because you're speaking to a part of him that longs to feel significant in your life. And this is important to understand. When a man feels respected, he naturally gives more of himself. He invests more, he loves harder, he becomes more attentive, more committed, and more emotionally open, because you've given him something he rarely receives in this world. Respect is not about inflating his ego, it's about creating an environment where he feels valued and trusted enough to be his true self. There's something undeniably powerful about mystery, and when it comes to love, it's one of the most magnetic forces you can create. Men are naturally drawn to what they can't fully figure out. But here's the key. It's not about playing games, pretending to be someone you're not, or withholding affection just to keep him guessing. True mystery comes from authenticity, from allowing him to see pieces of you slowly, layer by layer, Paul, while staying grounded in who you truly are. It's about being open enough to connect, but reserved enough to intrigue. When you reveal everything about yourself too quickly, you take away the natural curiosity that keeps a man engaged. Humans are wired to crave discovery, and love is no different. A man falls deeper when he feels there's always more to learn about you, your dreams, your thoughts, your passions, even the way you see the world. It's not about hiding who you are. It's about letting him earn deeper access to you with time. That gradual unfolding of your soul makes every interaction feel significant and intimate. But mystery without authenticity doesn't work. If you try to manufacture an image of yourself or play hard to get just for attention, he will sense it. Men are far more intuitive than we often give them credit for, and pretense eventually breaks the bond rather than strengthening it. The kind of mystery that draws a man closer is born from being fully comfortable with yourself. It's when you're confident in your value and secure enough not to over-explain, over-prove, or overshare. You don't feel the need to constantly seek validation because you know your worth, and that confidence is irresistibly attractive. Part of creating this dynamic is also about having a life outside the relationship. When he sees that you have passions, goals, and interests that fulfill you independently of him, it makes you stand out in his mind. It shows him that you're not relying on him to define your happiness, and that makes him respect and desire you more. He becomes curious about the world you've built for yourself, and he wants to be part of it without feeling like he's your entire purpose. That balance of closeness and independence keeps the spark alive. The beauty of this is that it allows love to deepen naturally, without force or pressure. A man who's intrigued by you will lean in on his own. He'll want to know more, to understand you more, to connect with you more. And as he slowly discovers new layers of you, his emotional investment grows stronger and stronger. One of the most beautiful things you can do for a man is to inspire him to be his best self, not by pushing, criticizing, or demanding change, but by simply believing in his potential. Men are deeply wired to seek purpose and growth. And when they meet a woman who sees beyond who they are today and recognizes who they can become, something powerful happens inside them. They start associating their evolution with you. They begin to feel that your presence in their life makes them stronger, more capable, and more alive. And that feeling becomes addictive. But here's the important part. Inspiration doesn't come from control. The moment you try to force him to change, you create resistance. Men shut down when they feel pressured, judged, or made to believe they're not enough. Real inspiration is quiet yet powerful. It's in the way you encourage him when he doubts himself. It's in the subtle reminders that you believe in his abilities even when he doesn't. It's in the way you celebrate his wins, no matter how small, and remind him of his worth when he feels defeated. That emotional support builds a connection far deeper than surface level attraction. When a man feels that you genuinely respect his dreams and stand by him while he chases them, he starts to open his heart to you in ways he won't with anyone else. You become his safe place and his motivation all at once. He doesn't just love you for who you are, he loves you for who he becomes when he's with you. That is why men fall deeply for women who uplift them instead of tearing them down. And this isn't about fixing him or trying to mold him into your idea of who he should be. It's about creating a space where he feels free to grow, knowing you see his potential without constantly reminding him of his flaws. It's about being his biggest supporter without taking away his autonomy. It's trusting that he is capable of rising on his own while letting him know you believe in his strength every step of the way. That balance between support and respect is what inspires him to evolve. This kind of connection leaves a lasting mark on a man's heart because growth is tied to emotion. When he feels that you bring out the best in him without forcing it, he doesn't just feel loved, he feels transformed. And transformation is powerful and creates a bond that's hard to break because deep down, we all want to be around people who make us better without trying to change who we are. There's a kind of intimacy that goes beyond physical attraction, beyond shared interests, beyond even time spent together. It's the intimacy born from vulnerability, from two people showing each other the unpolished, unfiltered parts of who they are. Men, especially, aren't often given the space to be vulnerable. They're taught to be strong, to hide their fears, to keep their struggles buried deep. But when a man meets a woman who creates a safe space for him to open up without shame or judgment, something profound happens. That's when he begins to feel a connection so rare and deep that he can't ignore it. But here's the thing, vulnerability has to be mutual. It's not about sitting there and waiting for him to pour his heart out while you keep your walls up. When you share your own fears, dreams, and insecurities, you invite him to do the same. Pull. You show him that it's okay to be imperfect, that you're not expecting him to always have it together, and that you're not afraid to show the parts of yourself that you usually keep hidden. This openness signals trust, and trust is the foundation on which lasting love is built. Sometimes it's as simple as telling him about a time when you failed, admitting a fear that keeps you up at night, or sharing a dream that scares you because it feels too big. When he sees you being real, unguarded, and human, it gives him permission to drop his own defenses. That's when conversations stop being surface level and start touching something deeper. And when two people meet each other in that space of raw honesty, the bond that forms is unlike anything else. Of course, being vulnerable doesn't mean oversharing or dumping every detail of your life all at once. It's about revealing yourself gradually at a pace that feels natural. So he has time to process and reciprocate. Vulnerability also doesn't mean weakness. In fact, and it takes incredible strength to show someone the sides of you that the rest of the world doesn't see. And when a man experiences that depth of connection with you, he begins to feel that you truly understand him in a way most people never will. The truth is, men fall deeply in love with the women who make them feel emotionally understood. Physical attraction may bring him close, but emotional depth is what keeps him there. It's the quiet conversations, the moments where no words are needed. When the times when you both feel safe enough to simply be yourselves without masks or pretenses, that's what creates a love that doesn't fade with time, a love built on trust, honesty, and the courage to be seen completely. There's an undeniable power in feminine energy. And it's not about trying to be someone you're not or pretending to be soft and delicate just to attract a man. It's about embracing your natural essence, the grace, the warmth, the emotional depth that make you who you are. Feminine energy isn't about weakness. It's about strength expressed differently. It's the ability to connect, to nurture, to inspire, and to create an atmosphere where a man feels drawn in without you ever having to chase him. Men are naturally wired to be drawn to contrast, where they bring direction, drive, and structure. Feminine energy offers balance, presence, flow, and emotional richness. When you're fully in touch with this part of yourself, you become magnetic without even trying. It's in the way you carry yourself, the way you express your feelings without apology, the way you allow yourself to receive rather than constantly giving or proving. There's a calm confidence in feminine energy that invites connection without demanding it. But this doesn't mean suppressing your strength or becoming passive. It's about knowing when to lead and when to lean back, when to express and when to listen, when to hold space and when to allow someone else to step in. Men fall deeply in love when they sense that balance within you, when you are deeply connected to yourself, comfortable in your skin, and unafraid to embrace your softness without losing your power. When you embody this energy, you give a man the gift of feeling needed without making yourself dependent. You make space for him to show up fully in his masculine without competing or controlling. And this creates a natural harmony where both of you thrive in your own strengths instead of clashing or trying to dominate each other. It's a dynamic where respect, attraction, and emotional intimacy naturally deepen over time. Part of walking in your feminine energy also means valuing yourself enough not to chase love. You know your worth, You know what you bring to the table. You don't beg for attention and you don't settle for crumbs because you trust that the right connection will gravitate toward you. That self-assuredness is incredibly attractive to a man. It tells him that you're with him because you choose him, not because you need him to complete you. And that difference changes everything. When a man experiences a woman who is confident yet soft, independent yet open, strong yet deeply connected to her emotions, he feels something rare, a sense of being both challenged and comforted at the same time. That combination captivates him, holds his attention, and nurtures his heart in ways he can't explain. Because at the end of the day, a man doesn't fall deeply in love with the woman who tries to be everything he is. He falls for the one who fully embraces everything she already is.